Hi, welcome back to the Dylan Rounds case. Just as a brief little reminder, if you haven't already, make sure to check out my earlier video today, as I did notice something a little strange, okay? And feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section of that video. So today, I'm going to be doing a bit of a discussion one around the Dylan Rounds case, bit of a chat, if you want, if you feel to, whether it be responses to what's going to be talked about today, or if it's other related stuff or completely different, feel free to do so in the live chat, okay? Give your thoughts, opinions and reactions. So if I had to word it, I'd probably say it's almost as if Tyler Feller has grabbed a massive bottle of water and splashed it on everyone's faces, because it seems as if people like the YouTubers, maybe the odd investigator, are making peace with one another. It's getting all softy, and it's like, what's changed? You know, this abruptness, this change, you know, it's a good thing, obviously. It can lead to maybe more success in solving things, receiving, sending, passing on information, knowing what's what, maybe clearing up any misinformation. So there is positives, definitely. But it's like, what's gone on behind the scenes? What's happened? What are your thoughts? Have you seen any of it? Like people making peace with one another? What's your response to that? Do you think it's genuine, or do you think there could still be a little bit of tension behind closed doors, or maybe just in the future at least? So I guess we can get into a few different individuals. One thing I will say beforehand is, I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but this has seemed to have happened after the video I made where I was talking about the different forms of conflict, whether it be my, not last video, but the video before that, which was yesterday, or a previous video before that, where I was saying how you got that person attacking that person, and this is causing issues to that, and so on. And I was saying how if there was some kind of clarity and resolve, then maybe people could work better together in some way, or just individually without the added tension. And it looks like that's what's happening. Bit of a coincidence, you know, thought I'd just bring that up. So who do we really start with? Well, we can start with Ty and Salty Pancakes. I keep forgetting Ty's last name, but Ty, you know him, you would have seen him, heard about him and stuff. You know, living in Montello for like, was it 33 years or so? Regular, born there, living there, knows all the people around the town and so on. Came across Lance and Kimber. When was it? Was it like 8 weeks ago or something? I might be wrong about that, but it wasn't like a long-term friendship. It was a part of, because they were getting together searching for Dylan, and they decided to get together so it would be a bit more practical, I guess, and so on. So that's a little bit about Ty. And obviously with Ty, I said you can leave your thoughts in the chat as I go along, your opinion of him, your thoughts, possible predictions, and so on, okay? But with Ty, from time to time, there was suspicion. I don't know who it exactly started with, or who started spreading it or suggesting it to begin with. But yeah, there was suspicion here and there by different people. And one of the individuals was Salty Pancakes. And in terms of Salty Pancakes, I can understand in terms of certain behaviour, it's that concept, that idea of being a little bit reluctant, being cautious. If you're not from the area, you won't know what people are like or what people are capable of. But if you do know that the ones within know each other, you could have that impression that they might cover for one another and defend people and turn the other eye, blind eye, if bad stuff happens. It's a natural response and a thought to be like that way. So that could explain why Pancakes was the way he was. You might see later on in this video, the wording of Pancakes still is at times, you know, careful. Not saying it definitely is, but more like, well, it could be interpreted as that. A little bit like what I do, not quite, but a little bit. So that's interesting. So maybe the individual has evolved. Pancakes did say he's changed and improved himself and trying and so on, which I guess is a good thing. You can interpret it however you want. But I think one of the original suspicions with Ty, whether it be by viewers and/or Pancakes, was because Ty knows people such as Chase, I think Robert's friends, might be covering for those two guys who might be tied up within the Dylan Brown's case. And if not, that might just like know certain information but doesn't want to share it because he doesn't want to grass on people, or he might think he might be in danger if he does. So that was some of the claims going about. I think at one point Pancakes was mentioning about Ty, his change in behaviour. Viewers as well, just general public, were picking up on that as well, saying Ty was acting a little bit differently compared to how he did previously, so that was a bit suspicious. So there was a few different rumours going about, nothing concrete or really solid, but just quite a few different suggestions. And whilst you could say, you know, it could all be ruled out and just brushed aside, because of the way the case has gone, with even the real supposed information switching and changing with time, it's like, well, if you can't trust that and you can't believe in that, then you might as well just go off opinions and theories then, you know? If you can't stick to the path, because there's, what do you call it, obstruction after obstruction, and it's not helping, then you might as well just find an alternative and come up with your own ideas, because that could be just as helpful, if not more. So I think that's why people started getting suspicious about key individuals and so on. And I guess with Pancakes, with a little following he has at the time, he's grown much bigger now, okay? I guess people tagged along with the idea as well. Do you know, like how I said in the previous video, where certain YouTubers could mention something, the viewers, the fan base, look up and listen, internalize that, whether it's right or wrong, and so on. So you can kind of see how things might have developed over time. And yet recently, in a live stream, which was either yesterday or the day before, Salty Pancakes live stream, was kind of like an interview with Ty, along with some other individuals beforehand. And it was like making peace with one another, trying to understand each other, how they are, the way they think, their behaviour, what they know and what they don't know, and clearing the air. So not really becoming best friends, but just becoming, I guess, mutual friends, or just neutral individuals with no grudges or darkness behind any of them. Because it's like when I don't know if it was Ty or somebody else asked a question saying, if you asked me now your honest opinion, would you say that I'm a possible suspect within the case? And Ty was pointing that question towards himself, and Pancakes replied saying, well, just basing it off, if you just knew that, you know, the population of Montello as a whole, the way it is, then yes. You know, so he's being honest. But the way the way Pancakes worded it just after was saying that, but because of knowing you and like who you are and what you're about, I'd like to think you're not responsible in any way, because you're a caring person with family and who he's with, partner, and so on. So you can see Pancakes carefully choosing the correct choices of words. You know, there could still be a little trigger mechanism within here, because what he did say at one point, I can't remember the exact number, but he said he's like 8 steps ahead of everybody else. So that translates roughly to, you know, he can go along with certain stuff, what do you call it, compliance, going along with it, but not internalization. Still being careful, still keeping that finger on the trigger just in case, not literally speaking. So with Pancakes being like that, you know, he could still be cautious here and there, you know, just waiting for the next move or the next possible bit of backlash or whatever, because messy things can happen, even though it might seem all peaceful and quiet. You know, another explosion could go off, which causes disruption, chaos, whether it be within or externally, if another individual comes along, okay? So I guess with Ty and Pancakes, it's working out at the moment, I guess you could say. We're sharing conversations, saying about the searches, I guess what needs to be done next, joining up, collected. And then there was like another bit Ty mentioned later on, Do I mention it now? I'll mention it a bit afterwards, okay, because it kind of ties in with the summary of this video, okay? And also, before I move on to like a little break session, okay, Pancakes mentioned about he being responsible for the hole and the buried items in Montello, you know, the Chase Venstra's homestead. Now, this is the thing. I don't know if Pancakes was being a bit sarcastic when he said that. He wasn't being, like, wasn't meant literally. Or was it meant? I don't know. There might have been a previous discussion that might have been mentioned, owning up to being responsible. I didn't come across that, okay? If you want to fill in the blanks, if you've seen a video beforehand of a confession, an update, a response, feel free to summarize it in the chat, okay? If you're new to hearing this, what are your thoughts about it, Salty Pancakes? Supposedly being responsible, supposedly confessing to the setup at Chase Venstra's homestead. What I'd say is, because I'm still talking blindly, let's be realistic and honest, I don't think Pancakes would have been responsible for dumping the lawnmower there and all those bits of scrap and rubbish and then trashing the trailers and then dumping a car here and a car there and so on and so on. It just seems a little bit far-fetched to be done in a day. And at the time, Pancakes was a little defensive. You know, it's natural for someone to be defensive. But yeah, at the time when accusations were put forwards, because people were reinforcing it at the time with what Ty said. So it was like a story, basing it off that, what Ty said at the time. That when he was doing a call-in or something on a panel, and he was saying how those items weren't there previously. So Pancakes must have been responsible for putting them there. And general public viewers did bring that point up in the past, okay? Now, my opinion at the time was Pancakes, it seems unlikely that it would have been set up. And I said that because there wasn't full-on evidence. I guess it's one of those things where if you hear the story from one person, it's not hard evidence, is it? You're just going off from what someone has said. But then I guess if you can find or hear the story from the other side, the other perspective, the person being accused of, and they come out with a similar story as the individual putting the blame on them, because you got continuity, that consensus is more believable then, because you've seen it from both sides, and that's what you want, to be able to come to a conclusion. And if Salty Pancakes was like, yeah, you got me, I hold my hands up, then it seems more likely that Ty was right at the time. But when you only hear one story, you know, you can't go all in on it, because at times when it does work, or at times it won't. So let me know your thoughts on that. What did you think about the whole situation with Chase Venstra's homestead at the time, when like that dog was found in that hole, and specifically speaking, the one with Salty Pancakes at the start of the video, where you had that thing that looked like it was buried in the ground, the sheeting over it, and then when uncovering it, you had the cardboard box with the wires and some bullets, I think 7mm Winchester rifle ones. Okay, so let me know what you think about that. Are you disappointed? Do you think it makes Chase Venstra less suspicious now because it wasn't his items, or he wasn't the one responsible for burying them? Would you say it changes everything now? I mean, you could say it's another twist within the case. Doesn't do much good. For the people who were already aware and alert earlier, they'll be like, told you so, you know, no change there for them. So they're on track still, okay. I guess it's good that it's cleared up though, if that's the case. Part of me still thinks, for some reason, I don't know, it's me being cautious, is that was Pancakes being a bit sarcastic or joking around still? Because he is known for joking around, you know, messing around here and there, which isn't always a bad thing, a bit of lightheartedness and so on. Like with the whole boots on ground thing, I was doing a play on words with them tying it with either something visual or something auditory, associating it with it. Play on words. It does make me think that with those boots, the cowboy ones or whatever, that were found at Chase Venstra's place, were they also planted there? Because Salty Pancakes did talk about boots being planted at Dylan's place and Salty Pancakes being responsible for that. I don't know if that one was tied up or explained. Do you remember that? Leave your thoughts in the chat about, do you think the cowboy boots found at Chase Venstra's homestead in that cardboard box next to the trailer, did Salty Pancake put them there as well? And also, do you think Pancakes was responsible for those boots being put near the grain shed, you know, like 100 yards towards the, what do you call it, the mound, the burning pit, I think you call it that. Do you think Pancakes put them there? If that was really the case, how does that help within the mystery overall? Was it done to try and incriminate Jim, put the blame on Jim even more? Because if that was the motive, then it seems like there's a lot of people going for Jim, you know, left, right and centre. Maybe friends, maybe family members, people turning on him, stabbing him in the back. I mean, he might be a bad person, but it's like, what is there an overall motive for targeting Jim and just Jim? Okay, so yeah, a little bit messy if you think about it. Another twist within the case overall. Do I still think Chase Venstra is still responsible in some way? I'd say, yeah, there's still possibilities. He might have information or know something. But then again, if he does know Ty, then why is Ty associating himself with someone like Chase and Roberts? Long-time friends, maybe look past the criminal activity and behaviour. I know Ty was mentioning or excusing some of the female population within Montello for how they may act or appear as adults, because when they were younger, bad things happened to them. Within the Pancakes interview, Ty said he didn't want to talk about it or get into much. I guess open for interpretation. It could mean all kinds of things, and like what we've mentioned previously, you know what I'm saying? About the upbringing, how they're treated, what they see, what's seen as acceptable to them, in which it wouldn't be elsewhere in other states, more developed places. Some kind of trauma at a point in time. Obviously, when it's a child, it's more scarring, long-term impacts, can affect how you see things, perceive stuff, act, react, and so on. So that would explain that. And, you know, I don't know if it's a good example to use, if it's an accurate one, but remember Ellen, don't know her last name, but Ellen, when she appeared in one of the previous Salty Pancakes videos. Bit wild, bit drunk, bit boisterous, saying she did this, involved herself with that, all kinds of, you know, certain activity, younger and current time, I guess, with the Wadsworth brothers and maybe other people as well, and both genders too. And, you know, it was kind of funny, kind of wild, bit unexpected, but then it makes you think, is Ellen an example of what Ty was talking about within Montello? How certain people were treated and brought up in the past? Was Ellen mistreated in some way, physically, psychologically, caused some kind of damage? You know, like they were physically, you know, touched or something. I'm not using certain words because when I did in a previous video, YouTube wasn't too happy with me, okay? Just so you know. So stuff like that happened to Ellen. That might explain to why Ellen thinks this is fine and that's fine and she'll do this and move on, move around, a lot of activity, high body count and so on, because bad stuff happened in the past. And if that's what Ty is referring to, and maybe more extreme cases, then it shows that, I guess, have things improved, or are things still as bad? You know, if you've got school there, the whole education system, is that completely flawed? If it is to do with a certain gender, is it to do with a certain age as well? So like, is the school a bit dodgy and corrupt? This is what I mean. If that's the case, and that's what Ty is like talking about in a broad way of saying it, it just shows that it might be one of those things where, although the Dylan Brown's case is important, and whether it's, you know, cleared up in recent time or remains an ongoing mystery, it's opened up the door for possible other investigations, not only in other missing people, but I guess other kinds of criminal, illegal activity, whether it could be some kind of trafficking, like when people were saying something about Kerr being involved with, was it do you call it Filipina? Is that a word? Philippines, female Philippines, or people from the Philippines, some kind of human trafficking. I don't know if that's 100% true. If that's the case, that's a bit dodgy. You got drug usage, drug smuggling, gun running, delivering illegal weapons, stealing, burglary, violence, attempted murder, assault, stalking, breaking protection orders, people who engage in bad activity with younger people, and all that. So could it be like a big crackdown? I mean, you kind of saw it on a very small scale. So when Doug exaggerated, you remember Doug, when he said about huge police presence in Montello, full-on lockdown? Wasn't the case, was it? It was just like a couple of law enforcement and authority individuals there, and they were at the post office, or whatever you call it, looking for a criminal who's been involved with, you know, activity with younger people. I think they were arrested, and a few more doors were kicked in as well within the neighbourhood near to the school. So maybe that awareness with Dylan Round's case, which has led to spreading awareness, putting Montello on the map for good reasons, but also mainly bad reasons too, led to a focus on police presence and a crackdown with crime within the area, because people have gotten away with things for far too long. Possibility. So quite a lot mentioned there. Makes you think, if that's what's happening with the female population, I don't know the exact figure within Montello, because when I saw it, it did say 20%, but I think that was outdated. It might have gone up since, and if not, if they're the minority, they could be seen as more vulnerable. Not in terms of the gender, but more in terms of just the numbers of them. Does that make sense? You know, if it's 1 against 20, it's not exactly fair. You know, if you had like a fight, 1 versus 20, you don't stand a chance. You appear more vulnerable and weakened. You'll get overpowered because of the sheer amount of volume of the opposition. So it could be applied in this case. It does make you wonder though, and you can leave your thoughts in the chat, along with all the stuff I just mentioned just beforehand, okay? Your thoughts of Montello, treatment towards females, okay? And possible damage it could have. What happens to the male population? Surely they must experience something negative as well in their upbringing for them to become criminals and do certain activity, you know? If the males are the ones that are, some of them at least, are responsible for engaging in dodgy activity towards younger people, then it's like, then they possibly might have experienced something like that themselves when they were younger. So it's like, what do you call it? Chain reaction. It just is continuous, on and on and on. It keeps on going. It's like a cycle. So that could explain that part. And then like just a criminal violence, witnessing it, seeing it on like so often that it just becomes normal. Just like if you've got a war-torn country, I can't think of one on the spot. If you say Syria or Syria at a point in time, okay, you might get explosions and gunfire going off here and there, but the people that live there witness it on a daily basis. At some point, you know, during like a news report interview, some person goes over, does a report, interviewing the odd person around, explosion, gunfire goes off, the reporter jumps, tries running for cover, general public who's being interviewed or present doesn't flinch, just stands there like zero fucks given. But that's because they've internalized it and that's all they know. They've gotten used to it, so they don't flinch, they don't react, and so on. It might not always be the case, but you know, that's like the idea. So if you apply it to Montello, certain things witnessed, it might not seem as shocking to someone that sees it for the first time. It can even apply to horror films. You watch a horror film for the first time, whether you are into them or not. You could jump. It could play on your mind afterwards. Where if you've got a seasoned horror fanatic who watches all the different films, comes along, watch it, they'll probably be like, lightweight, I'm bored, I'm tired, put another one on. That's how it can work. So leave your thoughts down below, okay? We're going to have a little break now. I'm not going anywhere, obviously, because there's not really anywhere to go. But you can carry on talking if you want. Little break. What do we just randomly cut to? Well, I thought instead of introducing certain characters early on in the video, not exactly practical because not everybody clicks on at the same time to join the live premiere. So people might miss out, such as like the pig one. So if I do it now, there should be, some people watching at least, okay? So, the penguin is over there. Wake up, wake up. There you go. He's not happy, obviously, he's in a mood. But speaking of vulnerability, as I said previously, the penguin is vulnerable in some way. He's been attacked by the big gorilla. He's been insulted several times. He's been choked. He's been slapped. He's been thrown. All kinds of stuff. He needs a bodyguard, okay? He needs someone to look after him. Now, I could do some kind of appeal, some kind of fundraiser, go fund me, go peng me, and say, would you adopt him? Do you want to adopt him? Put a pledge down below and become a member today. No. But who else is present? Is there any bodyguards? Okay, is there any bodyguards present right now aside from me? Well, done a bit of auditioning, okay? Trying to source out certain individuals. Some are more demanding than others. The first individual was the sloth. Thought he could have been, somewhat helpful, cooperative with the penguin. But, the problem is, very slow moving. If the penguin got in danger, screwed, gone. So, doesn't exactly work out, does it? It's not exactly practical. Now, to be fair, when looking at this sloth, it has a bell. That's different. But the key thing is, I wouldn't say he looks like a sloth. In my opinion, he looks more like a seal with that face. The seal. Now, how does the seal go? Actually, I'm not even going to make an attempt because I'm going to look like a complete idiot. I mean, it's like, something like that. Now, I could have tried it in another way, but it would have been more questionable, okay? So he's very slow moving and he falls asleep a lot. He's hanging about. He's not going to do much, is he? Yeah, he's got the claws, but just not practical. So we need someone that can be close-knit, close-tied, have a firm, strong grip. You don't want to let go of whatever you're grabbing onto, right? When you grab, you want to lock on and you do not want to let go, right? Firm grip, secure, you know where you are, you know the situation, like that. And you got this individual here. I'm holding him the wrong way. That's a good start. There you go. How about an orangutan? Okay, bit of a bald patch on his head, because that's what orangutans are like. But I'm sure that could work, right? You might be wondering why. Well, he's got long arms, first of all. You see that arm? Okay, he might not wash that much. Not great. But then again, it'll deter any attackers. Anyone gets too close, it'll be like, God, who the hell are you? I'm getting away from her. So that works. Long arms. And then if you can see, he's got Velcro. So I'll do a live demonstration. You've got the penguin. This is not exactly easy. I'm getting all this bloody fur in my face and it tickles. Right, where is it? Where's his Velcro? There you go. You see? Oh shit, that doesn't look right, does it? I probably should have turned him the other way around. Hold on. There we go. It doesn't look as dodgy now. See? He grips on tight, he's not going to let go. So there you go. The penguin is now happy. we'll just do a quick test. Shit. Well, it's work in progress, okay? Right, so we've returned back from that little break, and I've got really hot right now. It's getting even warmer by the day or whatever, because of the heat wave. So that's really annoying. That. So if you wonder why I keep doing that, it's because it's warm. So I've covered Thai, covered pancakes. Let me know your conclusion to that within this video, at least your thoughts currently. You know, have they changed your opinion on them too? Do you think there is still conflict, or do you think that's it now? You know, they've become neutral and that's it. But yeah, let's move on to the next one, Ty and Kurt. Now, Pancakes knew Kurt in some way. A little brief backstory behind that. Well, Kurt, you know, is another individual that lives within the area. One of two individuals that has some kind of business or kind of influential within the area compared to the other people financially, I guess. I think it was something about Kurt and the slot machines or something, owning them or renting them out, something to do with the bar. I don't know too much about that. You can correct me in the chat, okay? Because I don't want to cause too much confusion. But yeah, Kurt, somewhat influential with, I guess, money compared to others within the area. One of two people. I think the second one might be Ellen. Okay, I might be wrong, but yeah. So Pancakes came across Kurt when Pancakes was visiting Montello. Pancakes doesn't live in Montello. So we saw in older footage, you know, the little tour of Montello, the town, Pancakes driving around. Also met up with Ty, and that supposedly was a meet-up. Now, they were neutral then when talking, not much hostility or tension, but then again, with time, it built over that. So, but that's been explained already in this video. So, whilst Pancakes is there, I don't know if it was at the same time or he revisited, because I did see a video pop up at one point to do with an interview with Kurt, but it was deleted and taken down at the time, and then I think it was re-uploaded later, or an alternative one was uploaded, where they're in the bar, hanging out with Kurt, talking, and so on. So I guess they developed some kind of connection, in a way, understanding between the two. And then I believe Pancakes, Kurt, and somebody else were kind of like exploring the outer skirts of Montello, because I think they were all in one buggy or something. So they went to Chase's homestead, they went past Lance's homestead, living place, and Ty's farm as well. And that's why there were certain reports of seeing an individual driving around the area, hovering around, and it was them. So that ties back to, you know, the situation with the Chase homestead, you know, where a few people met up, you know, someone like Pancakes, Kurt, and then the other one beginning with a G. I think it was a woman, maybe, that ended up being responsible for adding things to the environment which weren't there previously. So yeah, a little backstory there. So I guess with Pancakes knowing Kurt, at a point in time earlier on, there's probably a little bit of biasness going on. You know, if you like someone, you're more likely to defend them, stand up for them, even when they are accused, and even if you might know something they've done which is bad, it's because you get on well, so you don't want to ruin that bond in a way. There is some claims that Kurt was related to Pancakes, that they were brothers. I think that was just because they were both wearing glasses. But no, they're not related from what I know of, at least. So yeah, what's happened in recent time is Pancakes still friendly towards Kurt. I don't think too much has changed. I didn't hear too much about that, Pancakes and Kurt. I have seen that there've been the odd few like call-ins or something, or interviews with the two and maybe some other people on the panel. So I think things are still as they are, I guess. Maybe Pancakes has, as I said, learn a little bit, wording how he said it, supposedly, at least. So I guess there's that. In terms of Ty, how Ty is towards Kurt, Ty has been suspicious of Kurt, and I guess Kurt has been suspicious of Ty. Been back and forth, so then I guess that's influenced Salty Pancakes, who's on the outside because he doesn't live within the area. So then when he gets involved and he's caught up in the middle of it, Pancakes met up with Ty early on, talked to him for a bit, met up with Kurt, maybe heard both sides of this story, or heard only one side, such as Kurt, and because of that connection and bond, more likely to listen, more likely to believe and internalize it, let's just say, okay? So then when Kurt does start calling, no, let's say when Ty starts calling Kurt out, saying, oh yeah, Kurt's responsible, he's dodgy, he's a scam artist, con artist, screwing people over, should have reported this information earlier on about Dylan staying in Montello or something like that, another, not trailer, but another building or something, okay? Should have been mentioned earlier. Kurt heard about that and then thought, oh, well, why are you having a go at Kurt? He's a good guy. Pancakes defends Kurt and then listens to what Kurt says about Ty being friends with Robert Aviles, Chase Venstra, Ty also maybe being this or involved in that, misunderstanding maybe, and then Pancakes is like more likely to listen to Kurt than rather the counterclaims by Ty. And I guess when you're caught up in the middle of it, you know, you can be swayed one way or another. It's like a tug of war. And I guess things have evened out in recent time, like in that last stream, because with Pancakes still, I guess, being somewhat okay with Kurt. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe there has been a change there. But from at least with Ty and Pancakes, we're on better terms now, so things have eased. And the same's happened with Ty and Kurt, okay? Do I mention it yet? No, I can mention it later on as an overall one. So with Ty, you can leave your thoughts as well, what you think about Kurt. You know, what do you think of Kurt? Do you like him? Do you not? Do you have any additional information you want to share? Feel free to do so. Any backstories to fill in the blanks? Feel free. But, you know, how is it? I'm just trying to think how it's worded. But Ty just basically wanted to stop talking bad about Kurt. And I guess it's just because maybe Ty's had enough of all the arguments and the drama. You know, Ty has seen how it can affect people, you know, with maybe misinformation, accusations, people getting attacked unnecessarily, people closer to him who might have been attacked, okay, someone like Lance in some way. And Ty's like, do you know what? It's not worth my time, it's not worth it. I did hear one line where Ty said, if it came to one thing or the other, I would stick with protecting my friends or standing up for them, which is normal, makes sense. I don't know if that could be twisted in some way and internalized in a darker format, but yeah, it's always worth taking it into mind overall. But yeah, I don't know what more to say with Ty and Kurt. I mean, Ty said that he doesn't think Kurt is responsible for Dylan's disappearance, but Ty does think that that Kurt is still dodgy, a con man, I guess financially, screwing people over in some way. So more to do with that, which is still not exactly a good thing, let's be realistic, but it's not tied with Dylan. So that makes sense there. And as well, you know, time back, if Kurt was friends, good friends, got on well with Dylan, it makes sense for Kurt maybe to get a little bit defensive at times or a little bit emotional in some way, even that's through aggression, being a little bit drunk, leading on to aggression, side effects of that, because he cares in a way. He's, you know, it's close to him, so he will react compared to something that might not be as important. So that makes sense. And I guess we can tie on with the next thing, with the whole thing with Lance being attacked. I don't know in what way. I'm sure there was actually threats, because I saw a video, and let me know what you think about this in the chat, okay? Saw some mentions about Kimber asking for something to be built around their home or something. I don't know if it was fencing, trees, so it's more discreet, something like that, because of, you know, their children getting caught up in the crossfire with Lance and Kimber. I don't know if it's women in that video or previous one, talking about how there was like people in buggies, vehicles, driving around the area, hovering around, you know, like observing something that normally wouldn't happen. Kind of made them feel a bit uneasy. Maybe put the children at risk, which isn't a good thing. So they wanted that protection. that privacy. You know, they're already living off grid, already in the middle of nowhere where there's not as many people, and yet if people start coming towards their door, then it's like, what more can you do? So I can imagine the frustration and also the concern as well. And I said, like, I don't know if other people have been responsible, but if they're talking about like the odd vehicles scouting the area, then it's probably Pancakes with Kurt and the other individual previously, as you know, discussed. Okay, so that would make sense there. And just to reinforce Pancakes, when he was talking about them being in the area of Montello, driving around, looking at all the different places, Ty's farm, Lance Kimber's homestead, it wasn't done in a nasty, dark way. It was just like looking at the area, showing it off and stuff like that. So I guess it was just like, well, scouting the area, but not in a harmful way, I guess. But, you know, it's one of those things where indirectly you can cause issues towards those people who are being observed when random strangers from the area or elsewhere who see the video online get an idea of the location and visit it themselves. You know, it's one of those things where if these locations with the addresses haven't been mentioned publicly or are publicly available online, and the private not been listed anywhere because they're off grid, then it's like you're revealing personal information then without consent. Now, obviously no actual name addresses were given, but I guess visually, if people can interpret it, see it, think, oh, I know where that is, or I've got an idea, that could pass on, and then you get all kinds of strangers turning up. And when it comes to turning up at Lance and Kimber's place, if they've got younger people around, then it could get a bit messy. And if they've got like an ill person as well present, they could get hurt or could cause some kind of stress and discomfort. So you don't really want that. So you see how it can branch off, not done with intention, but then other people can get involved who do it with intent. So that's how things can get messy. And I guess that's what they were getting at, where Lance and Kimber were being threatened. They said they were receiving threats, that they need to stop searching, that bad things will happen to them. And if they do carry on, then people will intervene and make them stop. And it's like, what the hell's going on there? That seems a bit dodgy, right? I mean, okay, threat levels can vary between case to case, but with the Kenny Veach one, there was a lot of threats. I received threats, I received coded messages, and whether they were genuine or not, it happened. There was a level of resistance more than a standard person saying, oh, your content's shit. You know what I'm saying? Different levels of that. Sean Horlacher experienced it the most extreme, his vehicle being tampered with, which could have affected him when he was driving and possibly took him out. So like attempted assassination. Supposedly really robbing, setting him up, wanting to meet up in real life, which could have caused some kind of negative outcome. And even Sean, at his place of living, somewhere in Nevada, people turning up to his doorstep, asking him for help, leading him off down a dark pathway, and then trying to put Sean in danger to take him out that way as well. So with those levels of threats, don't go out there, don't search, bad things will happen, we'll come in, we'll step in, you know, that person will get hurt. It's like taking a darker turn, isn't it? And when that sort of resistance happens, it makes you think, are you heading in the right direction? Let me know your thoughts. Do you think when there's levels of resistance like that, the more extreme, the more closer you're getting to the person who's missing, whether it be information or the location of the person? Because why do people want you to stop? Like, why does it bother them? How does it impact them in any way? Like, if they were the ones responsible or know something or have evidence on Dylan, which is tied to them, and you know, you got these searchers going out and they are so close to finding Dylan, even if they aren't aware. They might be stood on the ground where Dylan was at some point. They might be stood on the grave, I don't know, the burial. And then other people that are watching, observing, there's always people in the background. You never know who's watching your videos, okay? Might end up stepping up and thinking, shit, these people are a bit too close. We need to throw them off. We need to make sure that they stop doing what they're doing, because if they carry on, they could find something and we could get in trouble. So that could explain why Lance is getting attacked, and Kimber as well. But mainly Lance, because Lance is the one out there doing all the recordings fairly frequently, whether it's with Ty or without. I can understand, so the threat, maybe more verbal, not physical, but this still needs to be taken seriously. And I can imagine with Ty, if that's got anything to do with maybe drama with Kurt or somebody else, maybe that's why Ty wants to, you know, make peace with certain people at least, or let things cool down because he don't want other people to get dragged in. That's one way of looking at it, okay? Let me know your thoughts. I did hear within the Pancakes video that Ty said he wants to stop talking about Kurt in a negative way and just leave it as that. So it means they're not become best friends, obviously. They might not even be neutral friends, but they're just keeping separated in a way, doing their own thing. So I guess that reduces tension. Is there anything else that was mentioned? Something about Ed Hershberger. Mentioned him previously. I don't know too much about him because I haven't researched much, okay? I've heard about Ed renting or buying land off another individual, okay? And then placing people such as Jim onto that land. I think maybe one of the main reasons was because of the way Jim was acting in Montello. So Ed wanted to remove Jim from Montello elsewhere. That makes sense. But within that Salty Pancakes video, they were saying that Ed Hershberger had conflict with Dylan at some points, like getting into arguments. Now, I don't know if it was a one-off or if it was on a few occasions. If that's the case, depending on what it's about, land dispute, something to do with Jim, you know, the one in the middle, caught in the middle. Let me just throw that in, okay? When I said caught in the middle, like with Pancakes, Ty, and Kurt, it could be Jim caught in the middle. Jim in the middle on Dylan's land. Ed put him there for a reason, and Dylan has to put up with that. Dylan doesn't want Jim on there, so Dylan reaches out to Ed and say, "Why did you put Jim up here?" And then Jim's like, "Fuck me, what am I supposed to do?" And then they start arguing between the pair. And maybe Ed acts out, you know, takes it out on Dylan, or get somebody else to do it, okay? I don't know, I don't really have many pictures. I mean, you know, you've seen what Jim Brenner looks like, haven't you, with the beard? I think there might have been a picture without a beard as well. Looks a little bit rough, maybe a little bit intimidating, depending on how you look at it. And then you might have seen a picture of Don H, who looked around the same age, had a beard as well, older, but looked a little bit intimidating. And then I think Ed as well, which Julie referred to, saying he was like a biker guy, or looked like a biker guy. So they all kind of had that appearance to them and maybe presence. So if they all look kind of rough and a bit of a temper, maybe a bit aggressive, then they could be responsible, or one of them could have been responsible for Dylan's outcome, or at least know something. If it is something to do with bikers, then maybe Ed knows a biker gang, a biker group within the area, who ended up being sent out, like a hit sent out on Dylan. Biker gang came in, took him out. I guess you have to think about the track marks as well, depending on what vehicles we used at the time. I know Tyler Feller, I think, was talking about maybe the cartel, some kind of drug gang coming in, stumbling across Dylan, or Dylan stumbling across the gang. Things got messy, Dylan got took out. So you've got these external groups as well that could be involved. It wasn't planned. It wasn't planned. It just happened because of wrong place, wrong time. So that's what you've got to look at it, because people have said, what's this case of Dylan classified as? Leave your thoughts in the chat, okay? Is it a homicide case? Is it like just a general murder case? Is it just simply a missing person case? Was it planned? Or is it just the wrong place, wrong time? That's what you got to look at. The only thing I ever heard was just that, you call it a warrant, where when they were looking into Chase Venstra, even though he supposedly wasn't a part of the investigation to begin with, he was still being looked at and being charged with, you know, the firearm possession because of being a felon and owning them at the time. But they treated it I guess, that warrant or that investigation on him as a homicide case. And that's how I misinterpreted it at the time, the way they worded it or the way people said it. Because, you know, with Dylan going missing, not being found, blood being found on boots, you got someone who owns guns and he's saying it's a homicide. I just thought, oh, homicide in Dylan's outcome, but that wasn't the case. But it's easy to understand why you would see it that way. So still not quite sure where we're at or what this case is classified as. It's a missing person case, but you know, what's it officially classified as? I'd say it still is, how to say, this case is probably deeper than the Kenny Veach mystery, but the Kenny Veach mystery is more mysterious and kind of interesting over Dylan's disappearance, okay? Because with the Kenny Veach one, it's the idea of paranormal, you know, taking him out, some kind of weird winged cryptoid creature, reptilian, alien. It could be military presence coming across something you're not supposed to, something to do with Area 51, could be Nellis test range, secret cave, radio signals, underground bunker, base, whatever it could be, secret military air vent, air shaft, whatever you want to call it. There is that. Possible murder, planned, tent and sword, hiking out there, waiting to take him out. Simple going missing, just simply trying to find him. Not even missing in that way, but planned and elsewhere, living a new life, new identity. Many different theories. Not as factual, but much more open to interpretation, hence why it's more mysterious. But with the Dylan case, more deep because of all the different factors, the motives, the people involved, the conflict within, the inner conflict, the outer conflict, the misinformation, switching and changing of information, changes in behaviour, many layers to it. Let me know what you think. If you have been involved within the Kenny Veach case, long time, short time, as well as the Dylan Rounds one, which one do you think is more mysterious? Kenny Veach M Cave or Dylan Rounds? Which one's more mysterious? And whether I run it at the same time, like in the poll or just down below, aside from that, which factor would be more deeper? Is the Kenny Veach M Cave case deeper than Dylan Rounds or vice versa? Feel free to let me know your thoughts on that, okay? Just like these little points worth mentioning. Now, is there anything else? Future drama. I'll give you my opinion now. Could there be any future drama? Well, I think maybe with Kurt and somebody, things could flare up again at a point in time. I mean, if the case is solved or if there's a big development in recent time coming up, which I'll get to shortly, then maybe no, things might be neutralised. But there could be drama at a point in time if it involves Kurt. You know, if Ty hasn't completely buried the hatchet with Kurt and become mutual friends, they've just gone their own separate ways for now, then it means things lie dormant and things could arise at a later point. If Pancakes is still friends with Kurt after what's happened, then Pancakes could step in again. You know what I'm saying? So it's just being wary of the thing. You can leave your thoughts, what you think. Do you think something else will happen down the line or not? I do think if other YouTubers come in now, other content creators, big, small, doesn't matter, maybe more drama can happen from there, okay? I've seen some other smaller channels here and there doing the odd video talking about how there's a lot of people causing misinformation or talking, not boots on ground, calling people out, swearing, this and that. So yeah, there's probably smaller forms of tension, drama going on, but if it doesn't catch on fire, if there's no response by the recipient, the person being called out, then it's not really going to go anywhere. So I guess it also depends on the person who's been attacked as well. If they respond, then it'll just go back and forth. If they don't respond, then pretty much just dies out, doesn't it? So yeah. Is there anything else? Upcoming updates. So I heard this on one of Zav Girl's streams recently, probably the last one or the second to last one on her channel. and also on salty pancakes last video, the one I've been referring to throughout this whole video, okay? And there was that talk, whether it be directly from what Candice said, I don't know if it's got something to do with Candice being interviewed or appearing on the panel of the YouTube channel Duty Ron, some retired police officer or something, interviewing her, and then Candice said something about law enforcement or detectives are going to come forth today or tomorrow, depending on the time zone difference, with, you know, an update, and a big one, to say the least. I don't know if that's exactly true. I'm not quite sure how it was worded from memory, whether it's what Candice said on the Duty Ron stream, or if Candice said it elsewhere, or it wasn't Candice, but it was somebody else. Time will tell, obviously. I guess we'll find out either today or tomorrow if that was true or not, or if that's misinformation or misunderstood. We'll see. If it is true, I don't know what they'll be talking about. I mean, was it announced about the East Idaho News Channel where that third interview took place with Candice and the reporter? I forgot his name, unfortunately. You know, where they were saying about his 20th birthday, but also about clearing up rumours, suspicion, and the main thing about the investigation is it's still ongoing. A police, you know, looking into it. And she said at the time, yeah, they found some things, but it can't be released to the public yet. So could this supposed update be explaining what those pieces of evidence are? Who knows? Let me know what you think. What's your reaction to that? Are you surprised? Are you interested? Are you excited? Or are you still sitting on the fence thinking, I don't believe in it, it's probably wrong or something? So yeah, let's move on to another individual who's been talked about and peace has been made as a whole. So I'm not quite sure if it was mentioned within Zavgirl's stream as well, whether he appeared or not, but like in the Salty Pancakes one, I guess with Jim Terry being maybe a regular viewer or, you know, coming in here and there. I think he made a phone call as well, being called as Mr. X or something with a different voice, just like messing around and a bit of fun. Okay, fair enough. But with, you know, being present, there were talks about, you know, alongside with Ty making peace with Pancakes and Ty saying that he wants to, you know, break away from the drama with Kurt, there was also talks about Jim Terry and his thoughts, his beliefs, how he acts and operates within the case. And it wasn't just Pancakes saying it or Ty, but I think there was a few other people in the background of the stream. I don't know their names. I thought Zavgirl was in it, but that wasn't the case. It must have been just a similar voice, what I heard. It was somebody else, a guy called Brad, and maybe somebody else too. Basically saying that we need to understand, from roughly their words, that the way Jim Terry is, although he might be this and that, he might be hated at times, got to respect and understand the way he deals with things and how he operates. You know, he's put quite a bit of effort in, and he's, you know, the resources and the work done behind the scenes. And I think that's how Ty worded it, you know, like he's been quite effective within the case, whether it be interviews or finding bits of information and stuff, asking the right people with the right questions, although he might be a bit abrupt at times. You might not just sit back always and let the other person talk, you know, full on open-ended questions, relaxed atmosphere. It might not be that, it might be sharp, it might be hard hitting, but that's his style, that's his method, and if it works, it works. So I guess that's what they were getting at. Let me know what you think about Jim Terry. Do you like him? Do you not? Do you think he's been effective? Do you think his style of investigation has worked, been successful, or not? Let me know. I mean, on a rough scale, it's like what I do. When I do like my coverage of mysteries, the way I go about it, some people will criticize and say, oh, you're really slow the way you talk. Oh, your voice is dodgy. Oh, this coverage is a bit slow and a bit outdated and this and that. Oh, why are you looking at this angle? Why are you looking at that? It's because I've got a certain method, I've got a certain procedure. And obviously a fair few people understand that, which I appreciate. But, you know, it's like the situation with Jim Terry. He's got a certain procedure, a format when it comes to investigating, looking at stuff, just like how I do when it comes to analysing certain things, the way I think or the way I see it, the things I say, the way it's worded, and so on. I mean, even Pancakes himself, people have criticised Pancakes, the way he talks. It might be a bit inappropriate, or it might not be the best choice of words at times. And it's like, maybe, but you know, if that's who he is, that's who he is. You know, he might as well be realistic, be sharp. If it works for him, and that's just the way he acts, then best try and keep it as realistic and real as possible and not be fake, because if you start being fake, then it can cause trust issues down the line. So even if you do appear not favourable, at least it's better to know and see that firsthand than find out 6 months later when you thought there was something else. So yeah, so overall there's that understanding. Okay, so whilst peace has been made with individuals, feuds and drama has been eased, as well as tension, understandings have been formed, meaning less egocentrism, better reasoning ability. You know what I'm saying? Because people have been egocentric when it comes to the odd few people that stumble across my videos, whether it be because they've not watched a previous one which fills in a gap, or they've not watched a later one, or they've skipped through a video, so they're going to miss out things and then be misinformed or just not understand the overall picture. So there is still work in progress with certain individuals, I would say. But yeah, with that level of understanding, it's as if people are trying to get a bit closer with one another, especially with trying to solve the case, because I think whilst there's tension and misunderstanding put aside, people are kind of all collectively understanding that the only thing that's important is finding Dylan, or at least finding evidence or bits and bobs which then could help lead to the overall outcome without the money motive, okay? And I can actually tie back to that, because with Ty and Lance being in Zav Girl's live stream the same night as Pancakes, okay? Because during Zav Girl's live stream, Ty had to leave the room because he got a phone call, I think, and that might have been because of Pancakes. He left the room, went into another room to then do an interview with Pancakes, the one I was referring to. So it was done in the same night, which is a bit interesting. But yeah, it is what it is. So referring back to Zav Girl and that live stream, Ty mentioned that him and Lance, whilst they are searching, I think they said something like they don't want donations, but specifically they don't want money for finding Dylan. They're just doing it to help the community. So they don't want that $100,000 reward, okay? So that's interesting, clearing that up, because at times in the past it was that questioning of, I wonder if people are acting this way, or throwing people off the scent, or discrediting others, or making other people look bad so they themselves appear better and more believable. It's because it was like competition, human nature, to be the best, be on top, and find Dylan so they get the reward. But with Ty and Lance coming in with that, saying they don't want the money, that kind of clears up suspicion, confusion, right? Doesn't it? Because it's natural for people to think that people are doing it for the money part, especially the ones that might live in Montello due to the financial situations, because as we said, statistically, looking at the stats, it's not the best place to be living in terms of cost efficiency, in terms of maybe employment in a way, and some of the bits and bobs. You look at the buildings themselves, it's a bit rough, harsh environment, far out there, less infrastructure, and so on. So maybe there might be a stronger motive. You know, there's already crime, maybe to make money, to live, to survive, then this $100,000 reward will probably be easy money to them, and they'll be very determined to do whatever it takes, even if it means stepping over other people, throwing people under the bus to get the reward. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think the money motive could still apply now, or maybe in the future with the Dylan case? And do you think if that $100,000 reward is not given out because Dylan is never found, or the people that find Dylan don't want the money, where does that money go? Is it just withdrawn and then put back within the family, or is it given to, I don't know, some kind of charity or something, maybe the town? I don't know. I mean, some people are saying it should be given to charity. I don't know. I mean, it's personal choice at the end of the day. If you just put money out there for someone to search for someone, they find them, and then like, no, I don't want your money, it's okay, you can keep it. But you'd keep the money. Common sense, right? But I guess maybe the charity part could come in if over the course of the mystery, whether people have been successful or not, people that have given up time, volunteered to be search and rescues within in the town, the community area, maybe that could be given to charity to disperse and then help them benefit in some way over time. I guess it depends how you interpret it, but yeah, just thought it was worth bringing up. Is there anything else going on? I was just looking at some bullet points, okay. I don't think so. So overall, there's been some kind of peace, there's been some kind of understanding. I don't know, like with Tyler Feller, because Tyler Feller is a standalone individual. Doug, no thanks, is a standalone individual. I don't know if peace has been shared between Pancakes and Doug, or Ty and Doug. You know, there might still be things ongoing. I guess due to living in different areas, there might be differing understandings, because, I don't know, I saw some older videos, supposedly of Doug, no thanks, some phone call with other guys or something in the past, like 2 years ago, and it was like a full-on 34-minute rant, just swearing, criticising, having a go at someone. I don't know if it even was to do with Doug, or it could have been someone else called Doug, but it is some kind of past history with drama, tension, and reacting badly. Then maybe that sort of behaviour might leak into the Dylan Browns one. The wrong people come in, or certain people come in and trigger somebody else, and then they reply back, and then it just goes off. So let me know what you think of Doug. Do you think Doug could cause any trouble in the future, or do you think he's okay? Do you feel Pancakes or Ty or Kurt is okay with Doug now, or have things not been resolved between one another or so? Let me know your thoughts about that. As for Tyler Feller, calm individual. Yeah, people have said that, you know, when it comes to the, I guess, like donations made, which is voluntary, at the end of the day, if it's done, it should be appreciated, obviously. And then Tyler gives out blessings. I know some people say that's a little bit dodgy because of, like, you know, giving and then receiving and stuff, and it just seems a little, maybe a bit exploitive in a way to some people. But, you know, I wouldn't say Tyler has caused much trouble in terms of the drama, like, you know, arguments, like bitchy behaviour. I've not seen any of that. So that's something at least. But I guess we'll just see how time goes overall, because things can change. We've seen it with information, how it switches and changes. So it could happen again. There could be another sharp turn, a twist, whether that be because of that new supposed upcoming update with law enforcement or detectives or Candice herself. That could put the spanner in the works. That could clear something up, debunk something, or add more to the mystery and confusion if it's a contradiction to what's been previously said. And then, you know, a lot could happen. Anything else? Well, actually, there was one thing, and tying in with Tyler, actually. Tyler and Ty, and with blessings. I don't know if it was through a donation or not, but in that live stream of Salty Pancakes, Ty said to Pancakes that he was talking to Tyler in some way, and Tyler gave out a blessing to Ty. And when Ty was asleep or something during the night, he said he felt something within, like some kind of inner peace, that need, that want to spread the peace, the calmness, to unite everyone together, the YouTubers, private investigators, and whoever, to get involved in some way or another, try and work together to solve the case. There's a lot to cover, there's a lot to do, but, you know, with the more people and more people in sync, higher success rates and all that. So you can see how things are going. Seems to be all calming down, becoming a little bit more nice all of a sudden. It's like, a bit, you know, abrupt all of a sudden. It makes you think if it can end peacefully quickly, then maybe it can start off and ignite quickly as well for the wrong reasons. Leave your thoughts down below. What do you think of that with the Tyler and Ty situation, how things have come about and the outcome and the overall situation within the Dylan Browns community? Let me know what you think in the comment section. I think that's it for now. I've talked a fair bit. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope it makes sense. Obviously quite a few different key bullet points, okay? But it's like bitty bit information. It's not like I can cover one bullet point and then make a deep analysis on it. Best I could do is probably like 5 minutes of one point, 5 minutes of another, but then I don't want to be making lots of 5-minute videos all in a day, because people won't watch every one. They might watch the 2 latest ones, but the ones that might have been uploaded 30 minutes, 40 minutes beforehand might not be seen, so people might not catch all the information or be informed. So it's put all in one as a bulk video, then it should make more sense. I don't know about the title itself, that could be a bit vague, which isn't great, I understand. But when it's this bitty bit information, small little bullet points and a lot to be covered, it's just easier being all in one. Maybe that could explain why certain live streams on other channels are that long, because they're talking about a lot of points, but smaller ones. Whereas for the most part of it, my videos and my style format have been dissect things bit by bit, focus on one key point, stick to it, and do a longer video with, you know, reasonable points and valid stuff being talked about, which links all into that video. But as I said, in this one, it was a bit different. So hopefully you're able to follow along. If you did, I appreciate. And yeah, that's it for now. We'll see what happens next. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.